Hello, everyone. I'm Jim Garrison, and I want to welcome you to day 399 of Humanity Rising. We will celebrate our 400th day tomorrow. We've been going since the 22nd of May, 2020. You may remember back at that time, we thought the pandemic was going to be over sometime soon. And here we are nearly 2 years in. And the pandemic still stretches before us. And Humanity Rising continues to broadcast day by day, Monday through Friday now, although at the beginning we were doing it 7 days a week, as we bring people together from all over the world to just share who they are and what they dream about, what their concerns are. And today, we want to focus on the body. We want to focus on your vitality as a human being, your health. And I want to just underscore it for just a moment by saying that one of the results of now nearly 2 years of lockdown and social distancing, wearing masks, and the turbulence and the social, and I would say political and medical and public health domains has taken a toll on all of us as physical, emotional, psychological, spiritual beings. We've gone through something that none of us expected, none of us were prepared for. And so the mental and physical and psycho-emotional toll that COVID has wrought on all of us has been significant. And so we thought today we would just pause, as we've done a couple of times before, and just rejuvenate with two people who have spent a lifetime, personally and professionally, in how people develop their potential as beings, as human beings, as physical, psycho-emotional beings. So I'm delighted to introduce today Russell and Suki Munsell. They have spent a lifetime in this domain. Russell has been active in developing human potential for well over 40 years. He taught human optimization at Humboldt State. He is a Tai Chi and Qigong master. He has led people all over the world in developing their potential. He's been a swimming coach for many, many years. And his wife, Suki, also has been teaching, learned body movement and dance from the great Anna Halperin, who was one of the postmodern pioneers of dance. And since then, taking her PhD in human performance, she has taught people like Russell all over the world and has developed a specialty actually in dynamic walking, how to just walk as healthily and robustly as one possibly can. So today we're going to focus on our bodies as what Rumi called breath-breathing human beings, and learn from two people who have spent a lot of time in how you developed in an optimal way who you are and how you literally presence yourself in the world as a physical and psycho-emotionally somatic being. So Russell and Suki, I welcome you to Humanity Rising. And Russell, I turn it over to you, who will lead us in our opening meditation.
Good morning. And your important word there was presencing. So let's do a little presencing meditation. I'd like you to begin with your eyes open. Simply being here at this moment. Allow yourself to be aware of your weight underside. So aware of the soles of your feet, aware of your butt, aware of your back against the chair. And almost as if every cell of your body was a little soap bubble. You know, on the bottom of a soap bubble, a little extra bit of moisture collects there. Imagine every cell of your body is like that, all of the weight on the underside. And relax your perineum. Relax your buttocks, just let go. Relax your belly. And allow your entire thorax, your rib cage, your ribs, your sternum, shoulders, shoulder blades, everything to just settle like a shirt on a hanger. And bring your chin down just 1/8 of an inch so that it lengthens your cervical spine. Maintaining that, bring your awareness into your abdomen, right in the center of your abdomen, between your diaphragm and your perineum, front to back, side to side. Breathing. Breathing from the center of your abdomen. And become aware that your whole body moves with every breath. Yes, it's very subtle. Simply notice that subtle movement of each breath. And allow yourself to be aware of your entire field of vision without looking at anything. Seeing without looking. Soft sponge eyes, just soaking up the light information. Hearing without listening. And with an inner smile, whole body smiling, welcome whatever you're experiencing in your body. And with that smile, allow your eyes to close. And with your eyes closed, remember, imagine, recollect doing things that you most enjoy. And there may be several of those, so allow them to come and go as they please. You don't need to control it. Remembering, recollecting times of doing the things you most enjoy, your favorite activities, and remembering how that feels in your body. Remembering times of fulfillment. Maybe you completed a degree or some project at the house or whatever else, and that feeling of accomplishment and how that felt in your body. And allowing yourself to re-experience those sensations in your body right now. Remembering the members of your body, remembering the feelings of joy, remembering different experiences of joy or satisfaction or fulfillment, and re-experiencing the physical sensations in your body right now. Re-experiencing the physical sensations in your body of joy, satisfaction, fulfillment. Welcoming those experiences in your body. And radiate those experiences out throughout your entire body and even beyond your body. Recollecting, remembering experiences of joy, satisfaction, fulfillment throughout your body, especially in your heart, and radiating those feelings throughout your entire body and beyond your body. Recollecting, remembering experiences of joy, enjoyment, fulfillment, satisfaction, re-experiencing the physical sensations and radiating them throughout your body, your heart, entire body, and beyond your body. And smiling in welcome to those feelings, those sensations. Whole body breathing, weight underside, spacious awareness. Seeing without looking, you can allow your eyes to open again. Hearing without listening. Remembering experiences of joy and feeling the physical sensations throughout your body. Hello, and for those of us here on the West Coast, good morning. My name is Russell Munsell. My academic training was as a mathematician and logician. And while I was a professor of mathematics at Humboldt State University, I wondered why some students could learn and achieve their goals so much easier than others. And I was given an opportunity by the university to research those questions and to deliver a learning optimization program to interested students. And as a logician, I was especially interested in what were the foundations, to clarify the foundations, the infrastructure, if you like, for learning and change. So I was working with students. Some of them were athletes and artists. Some of them were medically referred from the health center, and with their professors, as I discovered the shared elements of success. I was also investigating psycho-spiritual traditions from around the world and Asian movement arts, looking for their principles of change. And consistent among all of these, the work with the students and the research into psycho-spiritual traditions and movement arts were three principles. First, a commitment to change. Change didn't seem to happen unless you were really committed. Not just that you thought it was a nice idea, you'd like to see things different. No, you were committed to having things be different. Secondly, a willingness to explore what was really true of your inner knowing, your personal integrity. And thirdly, a commitment to explore all of the options, all the different alternatives for how you might get to your goal, and to continue that exploration until you reached your goal. Suki also arrived at similar conclusions about how people change.
Hi there. So my journey began, as Jim mentioned, when I met the dancer choreographer Anna Halpern, with whom I trained for 45 years. From her, I learned how to live my life as an art form and to study it as a science. At that time, I suffered from physical issues like debilitating sciatic pain. Watching Anna use dance to recover from cancer inspired me to interview her and others who overcame disease, disfigurement, paralysis, obesity, or starvation to regain normal lives. I hope to learn their secrets and apply them to my own problems. I interviewed 25 people for my doctoral dissertation on body transformation. They used many different modalities to heal, but it was their attitude that was consistent. They were deeply in touch with an inner image of health and vitality, and they literally grew the physical body into their image body to learn to walk again, or in the two cases of facial disfigurement, to smile again. So I continued researching different modalities until I could develop my own method to teach. And what I discovered absolutely surprised me. It was very pedestrian. It was walking. How we walk can reinforce our problems or it can heal them. When we walk thousands of steps a day, our past injuries and muscular compensations can create repetitive stress injuries. Or we can learn to use the power of walking biomechanically efficiently to walk away from old habits and recreate ourselves anew. Let's turn to that slideshow that demonstrates the principles that Russ and I. So if you could put that on for us.
You know how to get there, honey?
1 second.
Okay.
Can you go to it? Here it comes.
She's got
And
next. Next slide.
so what I had discovered working with the students and what Suki had discovered in her research for her doctoral dissertation, we have kind of combined into what we call the dynamic vitality method. You can see it here. And it's also, what's important to look at is that this is an ongoing, lifelong change, the process of change. You can see this, the circle keeps going around. We begin by discovering our current patterns, then we train to transform and finally commit to practice. And then we come back and see what the new pattern is and keep going around the circle. Next slide. So in discovering the patterns, the beginning of that discovery is always in awareness and presence, just as we began this morning. And the language of communication between the body and the mind through the nervous system is the sensations, the feelings. So we pay attention to both a description of what the current situation is, what your pattern of movement, what your pattern of behavior in your life is, and what it feels like in your body. Next slide. Having discovered our pattern, then we begin a period of education about, well, what are the alternatives and options to how I have been behaving or how I have been moving. And in order to do this, I, as your assistant, your coach, I may have information for you, but I don't have answers, because what's most important is that you consider the different alternatives and options and see what fits with your personal integrity. And in this way, you regain the freedom to choose and discover your power to change. Next slide, please. Once you've considered some options and alternatives, now the kind of rubber meets the road, and you need to make a commitment to experimenting. Now, I use the word experiment and play and explore because I do not want you to change. The situation for most people is that the reason they're having difficulty learning or healing or performing better is that they already have too much stress in their lives. So I don't want you to make a change that's stressful, but rather to experiment with other possibilities and see what that feels like. And out of the experiment, you may find something, oh, that feels better, and I will continue that. So during the experimentation, no efforting, no speed, no pressure, no going too fast, no right or wrong. Just try it out and see what works. And as you make the changes in one part of your body or your entire personal organism, all the parts will change. And you end up reprogramming your old patterns in order to free vital energy. Next slide. So we find ourselves with a process of change where we begin by discovering our patterns, how we are now, by educating ourselves about alternatives and options, and getting in touch with our own personal integrity. And then we find that we have the power to make the choice and to make the change, and then come to the point of experimenting, of playing with the different possibilities to see what works best for us.
Okay, we're going to go back live again. So how do we do that? How do we create that image of health and vitality, starting with the physical body? Well, we are all sitting a lot. So I thought we'd start where we are, with sitting. So when we talk about the rubber hitting the road, there's the rubber and there's the road. Let's start here. Now, what I'd like you to do is, however you're sitting, just close your eyes and notice that. And again, there's no right, no wrong. So just notice. So in the noticing, these are the sensations. This is the language of communication between body and mind. You probably have a map within you of yourself sitting, how you move, how you are. You have a physiologic map of those sensations. Those become your patterns. Good. So feel that map a minute. Let's make some changes. So open your eyes. And what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to take a foot and drop it somewhere behind you or below you, so that it's not supporting you and you can feel a collapse in the whole body. Let me move to the side and show you. So here I am, and now I move the foot to the side and my whole body can collapse, especially if I'm working on a computer. energy doesn't flow well through this. So let's think of how to increase vitality by connecting from the earth all the way up through the body. So what I'd like you to do is maybe just stamp your feet a little bit. Notice you need to start to use your core muscles to do that. Good. And then wiggle around a little bit. Good. And then I'd like you to push your feet forward on the ground and notice you come into a curl. And then pull your feet back against the ground and notice you come into an arch. So let's wake up our spine right now with a little bit of curling and arching. And the arms can relax. We're using our arms all day long and our hands, you can even shake them out. And arch and curl. Notice how this starts to affect your breathing. This is a natural exhale. This is a natural inhale. And again, exhale and inhale. Good. Notice that you've connected your feet and your heel with your hip, the heel-hip connection. So whenever you are seated, you want to get grounded. Bring your toes up inside your shoes and spread them. Good. And now add that sensation, lifting the toes and pressing them down. Good. Now, what I'd like you to do is to put your hands under your butt and wiggle around. You'll find a couple bones there, which are your pelvis, but they're like the base of your spine, and they're called sits bones. So I want you to roll back of those and notice it's a curl. I want you to roll forward of those and notice it's an arch. And then I want you to be right on top. So let's do that a few times. Roll back, curl, roll forward, arch, come right up on top. And now as you're on top, roll back just a little bit so that you can lift a leg. And you'll find that you're now connecting. You have gotten grounded and you're now connecting into your hips and into your core. Let's work a little bit more with the core there. Bring your hand to your side. Notice how much space you have between your ribs and your hips. You can feel that inside. And now lift an arm and increase that space. Good. And now bring the arm down, bring the shoulder down, and maintain as much of that space as you can. You're connecting through core. You're connecting to core. And again. Good. Let's do that on the other side. So up, create more space, down, maintain the space. And again. Good, let's do it with both arms. Cross at the wrist, that's the center line of the body, and lift up. Good. Now, as you lift up, notice you want to press down with your feet. So you've gotten grounded, you've built your base, you're on or right behind the top, very top of the sits bones, and you're connecting to core. Next thing that's really important are the shoulders. So a lot of times the shoulders roll forward, especially if we're working this way. But you can see what that does to my neck. You can see what it does to my whole posture. So instead, lift up again. I want you to bring your hands palm forward as they come down. And I want them to be in your peripheral vision. So bring your hands down, release your shoulders, let them relax. Let your arms come pretty much to your sides. And then you can turn your hands over. Notice that your shoulders now are in place rather than forward. Yes, you can do a shoulder roll one side or the other, but the idea is the shoulders are settled. So we have gotten grounded, built base, connected to core, settle the shoulders. The next would be balloon breathing. Bring your hands to your side, inhale, and exhale. This time, use your hands to push. And again. Give yourself some resistance. So imagine you're breathing into the front and the back as well. Actually feel it. So we have balloon breathing. Our breathing helps our posture. By breathing fully, we help to maintain a tall, erect posture to let the energy flow from the base all the way up through the spine. Settle your shoulders one more time, just in case they're out of place. Good. Then bring your hands behind your neck and you're going to stretch just a little bit. Stretch your neck and lift up. You can take a thumb, place it at your collarbone to anchor you, and imagine that you can lift your neck up. So imagination is very strong. The image, your guiding image is very strong. It's a sensation, it's a perception, it's feedback from your joints. So lift up as if you were lifting into your crown. Now that's a beautiful image too. Lift into your crown. So here we go. Build base, press and get grounded, press down, lift all the way up, create that space in the center. Settle the shoulders, good. Lift into your crown, and you can actually use this movement to help you. Yeah, good. Now you want to wear your crown lightly. So let your head relax. And you can look around. Good. How's that feel? Pretty good, huh? Good. All right, then let's take it into some movement. So bring one foot forward, one foot back. You're creating a tripod base here. Find your center of alignment, move your center of alignment in right over that new center. Lean and push yourself down. Now, you may not have a lot of space where you are. That's okay. We'll do a little bit standing. Good. Okay, let's jiggle it out. Let's feel our grounding. One foot up onto the forefoot of the other foot. Spread those toes. Good. How about a little bit of a swing? Good. So you want to be settled on one leg. And you want to be settled on the other. Good. Swing and let your shoulders go. Let your arms relax. Let your head relax. And can you let the push off of your legs take your arms higher and overhead? Here we go. Sound effects are great. And the other direction. Let your head go. Let your spine relax. Good. One more time. Stop at the top. Yes. There you are. Now, turn and look to one side and then the other. Head, shoulders, rib cage. And now finally your hips up onto the base of one one forefoot and then the other, your arms are relaxed. They are swinging. They are on vacation. Look behind you, use your eyes. And then imagine that somehow your back is sliding down the wall as you bend at the hip. Then place your hands on your thighs, fingers in. My back is straight. And I'm going to do that arch and curl again. Good. And I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to lift a heel and a hip, and lift the other heel and hip, and then back and forth. Lift your heels if you need to, otherwise just your hip. Good. And you can come down just a little lower. Your back can be straight or slightly curled. Then I'm going to toe in, heel in, toe in. Bring my feet under my knees and hips and roll up. Ah, yeah. Yes. Shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. Good. We'll just do one more thing with this. We'll lift, lean, and begin walking. Use your push-off to walk. And feel that your body is starting to glide. Push off from behind rather than stepping forward. And if we had more time, I'd teach you some dynamic walking. Good. All right, here's Russell.
So while you're still standing, if you would kind of come into a natural stance, your knees above your toes. So we don't want to have the knees in or the knees out, but the feet under the hips, knees, shoulders. And as we began presencing, bring all of your awareness into this moment. Weight underside. So aware of the weight on the bottoms of your feet. We want to soften the knees, and we do that not by bending the knees, but by folding right here at the inguinal crease between your thigh and your belly. So just fold there. It's almost as if you were about to sit down. So just a little bit to soften the knees, soften your perineum and your belly and your buttocks. Kind of let go, let the shoulders and rib cage rest. Again, chin down just a little bit, lengthening the back of the neck. Whole body breathing. Breathing from the center of your abdominal cavity, right halfway between your perineum and diaphragm, right in the middle, as if that's the center of your breathing, and your whole body is expanding and condensing from that place. Spacious awareness. Eyes not looking at anything, but seeing everything. Allow all of the light information to come into your nervous system without picking out anything to look at. More animal eyes, seeing everything. Hearing without listening. Animal ears. And welcoming your experience, whatever's going on in your body, is the right thing for you at this moment. And welcome it with a smile, an inner smile. Whole body smiling. Maybe remembering how we began, remembering an experience of joy and what that felt like in your body. This is the way we begin our practice. So we're going to do 3 of what are called the precious gestures, favorites of all of our students. So put all of your weight on one foot and then put the other foot out, but without any shift of weight. I could shift my weight and take a big step, but I only want to go just as far as I can without any shift of weight. That'll give me a solid base, and then divide the weight. Now turn your body to one side as if you were scooping up and picking up something, and carry it across the center to the other side and release it, let it go, as if you were releasing a bird or a butterfly. And on this side, gather up something, carry it across, and release it. Now let's coordinate our breathing with this. Inhaling as you gather and carry, and exhale as you release. Inhale, gather, carry, release. Well, maybe it's an old plan that didn't get done. Just let it go. I remember the first time I did this, what I remembered was an incident from grade school, and I released it. Gather, carry, release with an exhale. Inhale, gather, carry as you cross the center line, exhale, and release. Maybe it's some disappointment in your life. Let it go. Maybe it's something you wanted to have happen and it didn't happen. Let it go. Maybe it was your favorite football team lost the game last weekend. Let it go. Maybe it's something in a relationship. Just let it go. Whatever comes up for you is the right thing. Hopefully there's just a whole chain of things that turn up. You're willing to gather and carry and just let it go. Whatever it is, any experience out of your life, let it go. It might even be a big success that you're hanging on to. And let it go. Release. One more. Gather. Carry. Release. And come back to the middle and just notice how you are. Notice the feelings in your body right now. No right or wrong, nothing to change, nothing to accomplish, just noticing your experience in this moment and welcoming it with an inner smile. The second of our precious gestures is called calm at the center. I'm going to get just a tiny bit closer. And we're going to have empty fists. So your hands will be fists with the palm side up, but it's empty. So we're not going to squeeze the fist. It's a soft fist, and you bring it here to what's called chamber, right at the sides of your lower ribs. Turn your waist and open one fist and reach across to the other side and shift your weight as well. And now shifting your weight the other way and turning your waist, look at the palm of that hand as you shift and turn as far around behind you as you can. And then continuing to look at the palm, turn forward and pick one thing and bring it in. The other side. looking at the palm as the body turns as far as you can behind. No efforting, don't push too far. And then continue to look at the palm as you come forward, and as if you were picking a peach off of a tree. Let's coordinate the breathing. Exhale. Inhale as you turn, looking at the palm. Exhale as you turn forward. Inhale as you pick a peach. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhaling as you focus on the palm, and in the background, the 10,000 things of life are passing by. But you're focused on your palm, in exhaling. And inhaling as you pick the one thing in life that's important to you that you want to keep. Exhale. Inhaling, focused on the palm as the 10,000 things of life pass by in the background. Exhale. Inhaling as you pick the one that you want. Exhale. Calm at the center, the 10,000 things of life passing by. Exhale, picking the one that's important. Exhale. Inhaling, developing equanimity, not being disturbed by the 10,000 things of life as you focus on getting the one that's really important to you. Exhale. Inhaling, focus on your palm. Exhaling, the 10,000 things of life in the background, and you pick the one that's most important. Last time. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Picking the one that's most important. Noticing how you are in your body. The feelings and sensations in your body. Don't need to name them. No need for labels. Simply noticing the feelings and welcoming them with an inner smile. Releasing your arms. Welcoming with an inner smile. Noticing the feelings. In Qigong, which is the practice that we're doing, the most important part of the practice is the harvest. Qigong literally means qi, life force, gung, cultivation, like garden. So as we do these things, we're cultivating life force. And at the most important time in your garden is when you harvest, and you get to see what the results of your practice has been, of your cultivation. So we're going to do one more practice. It's called waiting at the temple gate. So bringing open palms, and I'd like you to sweep out around behind you, collecting, and then offering, giving up whatever you collected. And now you reach up as if you're grabbing the rope to a bell, and you pull the bell all the way down, and then let the bell pull you back up. And then you settle, sit the kwa again, settle in kind of prayer position. And we begin again. Inhaling, collecting, gathering, exhaling, offering. Inhaling. Exhaling, pulling the bell rope. Inhaling and holding the breath as we sit the quad. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhaling and holding the breath. Exhaling. Inhaling, gathering. Exhaling, offering. Inhaling, grabbing the bell rope. Ringing the bell at the temple gate. Inhaling, holding the breath, waiting patiently for someone to come and open the temple gate. Exhale. Inhale. Gathering everything that you have to offer. And exhaling, offering. Inhale, grasp the temple, the bell rope. Exhale. Inhale. Hold. Waiting patiently at the temple gate. Exhale. Inhale. Gathering. Exhale. Offering. Inhale. Exhale. Ring the bell. Inhale. Holding. Waiting patiently at the temple gate. Exhale. Inhale, gathering all you have to offer. Exhale, offering. Inhale, grasping the bell rope. Exhale, ringing the bell at the temple gate. Inhale, holding, waiting patiently at the temple gate. Exhale. Last time. Inhale, gathering. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Holding. Waiting patiently at the temple gate. Noticing the feelings in your body. Exhaling. Breathing. Whole body breathing. Welcoming whatever you're experiencing in your body. Releasing the arms. Weight underside. Whole body breathing. Spacious awareness. Welcoming your experience with an inner smile. Come back to your seats.
So could you put our PowerPoint slide deck on again? We want to share with people if you enjoyed some of the things we did, how you can learn more. So continue. Next.
Next slide.
And one more. So we'd love you to visit us at our website, dynamicvitality.com. At top right, you can see where you can enter our email so that you can get more information. Next slide, please. These are our online classes. Russell teaches Tai Chi Tuesdays and Saturdays. These are Pacific times. I teach Body Wisdom for Women, and that's Thursdays at 9 a.m. And then twice a year, I teach a 10-week coached dynamic walking for lifelong legs. So next slide, please. Those are ways you can come into our classes through our website. Also, you can go to our YouTube channel and look at any of the very short webinars that we have, or short videos that we have. Next. At the website, you can download the 7 common walking problems with smart solutions. So you can check to see if you have any walking problems that you want to pay attention to. There's some exercises there. Next slide. And if you want to go further with that, you can go to our dynamicwalking.com landing site. There you will learn about how I help you retrain your walk to achieve efficient biomechanics. The profound yet simple practice of walking correctly revitalizes your body and stimulates self-healing. Next. If you're a professional, health or fitness professional in the audience, I also have a dynamic walking teacher training. Russ and I have been leading that since 1992. Next slide. And if you have a background in anatomy, you might want to join us for our new class, the Anatomy and Biomechanics of Walking. Next slide. Basically, we want to say thank you for joining us. Yes, we hope you live and age with dynamic vitality, because that's what we've been doing, and it's more fun that way. All right, back to live. Thank you. That concludes our presentation. Jim?
Well, I feel more vigorous already. So, thank you. And several of the people in the chat have indicated the same thing. So thank you for your graciousness today and just showing us how simple it actually is.
Yeah.
Be in touch with your body and to rejuvenate yourself. I think one of the questions that I have, particularly for the two of you that have been at this for so long, is, you know, as you have experienced people in relationship to their bodies over the years, what have you found are the most common impediments of people in coming into relationship or right relationship with their bodies? Because our whole culture, you know, is in some ways anti-body and anti-nature. So you're in some ways swimming against the tide. Would just love to hear more about the challenges that you have encountered as you've, over the years, put people back into right relationship with their bodies and their health.
Well, I would start it with something that we have done when we are out in public, in a public place, in a park, where people are walking, especially where families are walking. We often notice that the children walk the same as their parents. The boys like the father, the girls like the mother. And so the reason I'm using that as a place to start is that we grow up with internal images and ideas about what's the right way to do things. Because when we were crawling around on the floor and we were looking up at our parents, oh, I want to be able to do that. And maybe our models were not as good as they might have been.
Yes, and you hit it right on the head, Jim. It's acculturation, and acculturation actually does start in the family, and then it's acculturation in terms of men should be strong, women should be this way, whatever it is. We internalize that, we embody that. And the path for everyone, no matter what culture they are coming from, is actually in and back to the experience of the body. It's as if the body, especially in the American culture, gets very, very little voice, but the mind gets a big voice. So what you want to do is you want to change that. You want to keep mapping new perceptions and sensations free of criticism. No effort, no speed, no right, no wrong. You want to keep mapping more and more awareness so that you can consult your body and know, oh, that feels good, that doesn't feel good. You can feel when you're walking with good biomechanics, you can feel it. So that's what you want to, that's where you want to go. You want to rewrite that. And to remember that, and Anna always said this, we are nature. We are nature. So we want to listen to our own human nature. That will begin to put us in right relationship with nature out there. We want to clean up our water as well as all of the water out there, and our air and how we breathe. And that is the basis of it for me.
Beautiful.
Also, I think we've gotten some bad advice along the way. So for example, although I'm no longer doing much swimming coaching, in 50, well, actually 60 some years of coaching swimmers, what I noticed was that a lot of coaches were giving people skills that were primarily based on a best way to get speed. Well, I'm not so interested in speed. I'm interested in being able to swim for the rest of my life. Some of those skills, some of those ways of swimming were not really supportive. And I've had to help, or I have over the years, helped many people get rid of the old competitive swimming model to find a lifelong swimming model. And that's just an example of, we've been given ways of doing it and told to do those ways that were really not supporting us.
Yep, we want the voice of the body to be as strong.
Yeah, well, I can testify to that, everyone. I'm a swimmer almost every day. And I had one conversation with Russell that fairly radically transformed my perception of myself swimming. And you're so right. You know, this goal-oriented exercise is much less important than, I would say, being-oriented exercise. And that's, particularly as we get older, I think we kind of relax into more being than having and achieving.
Yes.
And that's at the heart, I think, of human health and well-being.
Yes.
Now, I want to raise a question from Ada in the chat about how the two of you have developed your techniques for helping people who have deep trauma embedded in the body.
Well, especially in my work with Anna Halpern, and I would also point you to tamalpainstitute.org or .com and their extraordinary work working with victims of trauma around the world. The process is basically to use dance, to use art, to use drawing, to externalize incorporated pain and trauma. So trauma, there's physical trauma, there's emotional trauma, but that is a coupling of sensations and images, and they literally reside in the body. So you, in order to discover what they are and commit to changing them, I began in my training with Anna, we would just, for instance, do a hand dance, and then we'd draw the hand. And then you'd be surprised what's in the hand, or what I found in my chest. I found in my chest Tweety Bird inside a cage, and I couldn't move. I didn't have any range in my chest, but eventually I found in my hips a butterfly. So we continued to go through the whole body and through Tamalpa. That's a wonderful organization, and to find somebody worldwide, maybe to work with, to go to help remove trauma from the body. You need to know it can be done. It's a certain kind of courage and bravery. If you're asking the question, you're already heading in that direction. So
I would also say that with regard to trauma, that I'm sure there are a lot of people who've got an answer for you. And it's in order to re-own your trauma and pay really, I guess I want to say it a different way. Very often what we're doing is pushing away what our issue is or our trauma, but to re-own it and really begin to pay attention to it and experience it, and then look at what are some of the options are and begin to play, literally play with different options, different alternatives for how you do things, maybe for how you breathe, and explore that without any sense of right or wrong, but just to, well, how does that feel in my body? And then that informs the next time around our dynamic vitality method. You just keep trying and trying and trying. For example, I had serious spinal injuries in high school, a broken neck and a broken back. And for years and years, I did everything possible, but I was always in pain. Then I met her, and she said, you don't have to be in pain. You don't have to be in pain. And she showed me some of the works that she was beginning to expose to you, and I was and walking, and it did take me about a year. It's not I don't think there are any quick answers. It took me about a year to regrow my body into a new image of how it could operate without pain, and pretty much so now for the last 20 some years.
that's why you married.
Well, any man in his right mind would have made the same decision, Suki, given that transformation.
Yeah, exactly. Body transformation.
Well, I'm sure the relationship had a little bit to do with it as well. But thank you. Listen, as we're bringing this to a close here today, I want to have you comment on a chat that the Richard Page just made. He said, "Tears here. The mind embracing Qigong visualizations gave permission to release the trance." Richard, I just want to embrace you around that comment. The mind embracing Qigong visualizations gave permission to release the trance. So as we close out today, I'd just love to hear from both of you on releasing the trance and entering transformational vitality.
Well, the first thing I would want to say is that in order to be released from the trance, you have to be aware that you're in the trance. And so it comes back to our first step again, which is awareness of what's going on right now. And in order to be released, you have to know that that's where you are and how you were trapped and what the experience is of being there and being trapped. And that's where I would begin.
Trance for me evokes an image of a structure that's closed, that isn't breathing, that isn't, change and truth. Truth is a moving point. Truth is not a fixed point. So as you notice the boundaries, whatever it is, whatever it feels like, it could be a pain, and then you explore that, that begins to shatter the trance, the fixed structure that we perhaps find ourselves in at any moment. And it could be deeper, it could be psychogenic throughout your life to explore. Those are all gifts. Those are all literally fingers pointing the way. I hope that helps.
Yeah. Well, and I think the general point that you're making is around, in terms of trance, the relationship between perception and the mimicking, for example, of children with their parents, having no idea that the son is walking like the father and the daughter is walking like the mother. And the trance is something that is so unconscious, but so confining, that when we then experience trauma, we don't have the elasticity inside our physiology, literally, to process and release it in a way which further reinforces the trance. And so the techniques that you have learned for your own well-being and now are teaching for the well-being of others are really, as Richard is indicating, are ways of breaking our trances, that transgenerational trauma that we inherit, for example. And it kind of breaks it up, dissolves it into an enhanced well-being, because we become more elastic and flexible and soft with our own bodies. Would that be an accurate way of conveying what you're saying?
Yes. And you can start with the breath.
Yeah.
Well, and I liked the word that you used was transgenerational, and going back to parents and children. Let's imagine for a moment that the father had a broken leg and had used a cane at one point. Now he no longer uses the cane, but he still walks like he had a cane. And now the son is starting to walk like the father. The son never had the broken leg. So, and we've had, and I've watched Suki work with clients who've had physical trauma, and then in order to treat the physical trauma, they had crutches or a cane or whatever else. And even though those implements are gone, they're still walking as if they had a cane or crutches. So how to break through? It comes back right here. Whoever it is that's wanting to come out of the trance needs to kind of take a look and see, oh, how is that trance playing out in me? And what options and what alternatives do I have to do something differently? And I'm not necessarily trying to break it. Maybe I'm just going to rub a little thin point so I can see out to see something else. So I'm not interested in, as I said earlier, I'm not interested in big change. I'm interested in little change. Let me go back again. The idea of when I'm working with people with all of the issues in their lifestyle that are already overloading them so they can't really learn or perform or heal. Well, we're wanting them to make little tiny changes in their lifestyle until, like the camel take some of the straw off the camel so that there's room for more, so that there can be change. So it's to facilitate change, not to make the change, but to make change easy, to support change.
Cuff Ferguson has a very interesting observation. Would love to get your comments on. He's saying that he didn't grow up with his biological father, but later as an adult, he got to know him and found that he was actually walking like him.
Yes,
So even though he didn't have the role model right in front of him,
yes,
he was still walking like his father. Cuff, that's brilliant.
it is.
What do you make of that?
Because you have the whole physiology of your body, you have the length of your bones and how your joints work. So that's a wonderful observation. It is so true. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong. Or untoward there. It's what is, and it may or may not still be biomechanically efficient and the easiest way for that body to move. Yeah, does that make sense?
Russell,
Well, I'm
anything
thinking also
you want to add?
I'm thinking also of a friend who did not know his biological father and never met him, but went searching in his 40s or so, and the biological father had died. And when he met some of the biological father's children from a second family, he was blown away at the same kind of attitudes about life that he had grown up with, that had been transmitted from the father. So I think it plays, but more, the trauma is not just in the body. It could be in the energy field,
Psychogenic field.
and it's then transmitted to the next generation.
Yeah, I mean, the whole Rupert Sheldrake's whole notion of the morphogenic fields that are transgenerational.
Yes.
And in fact, in the evolutionary progression of billions of years of planetary life, build up over time and shape how we think, how we feel, how our bodies move, and how we can progress and evolve beyond where we are through certain breakthroughs. Because that's the key, I think, that the two of you are motivated by, is how within the context of the trance, however it's embedded in our beings, how do we softly, incrementally break through to the other side?
Yes.
Well, part of the discussion around intelligence over the last 50, 70 years talks about whatever the total operating capacity of our brain, of our whole organism is, and that we use such a small part of it has been part of the discussion, that people like Einstein just happen to use maybe 2% more. Well, I'm not so sure about that anymore. It seems to me that we're beginning to learn so much more about this organism that I think the brain is being used. I think there is a lot going on. For example, it's always surprising to people when they hear you have as many neurons in your gut as you have in your head. And these neurons are very, very involved with, I was wanting them to see my gut, but these neurons are very involved with your immune system.
Yeah.
And this whole organism wouldn't survive if these 50% of your neurons weren't all tied up defending you from the stuff that you put in your mouth, etc. So I think when you talk about that kind of a breakthrough, I think the breakthrough is to re-inhabit.
Yeah.
Rather than think that we're better than an outside and this is the controlling thing. Well, I'm not so sure anymore.
Mm-hmm. And using more than our brain to guide our lives.
Yes,
our heart, for example, our
gut
gut.
Gut instinct.
And as you know, there's research now indicating that every cell has its own brain, has its own capacity. There's been some research we were talking about just the other day on Humanity Rising. They're finding out that every little seed has its own brain.
Mm.
And the seeds make decisions about when to germinate and how to position themselves. And one seed will make a decision different than the seed right in the pot next door. It's remarkable how the microcosm contains the macrocosm at every level of cosmic being. And our bodies with 1 trillion cells, 100 trillion cells is an example of one of the most complex organisms that we know of, at least insofar as we've discovered anything, certainly on planet Earth, if not into the larger solar system and galaxy. So, well, both of you, thank you so much for this very elegant and thoughtful and inspiring session today. I feel much better. And by the way, Russell, I've really taken to heart your admonitions on how to improve my swimming. So I can testify, everyone, that these two lovely people are well worth your time and consideration. If you've got aches and pains and you just want to soften up a bit, Russ and Suki are worthy mentors in this regard. So thank you both. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. You're all welcome now to our after chat session. Russ and Suki, you're also welcome. The link is in the letter that you were sent. It's also in the chat box here for our after chat conversation. And we'll see everyone tomorrow. We're going to begin a 3-day program tomorrow on intentional change with Joy Gilfillan. And we'll see you all same time, same station here tomorrow. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye now.